So I had mentioned to one of my friends that I've been trying my hand at baking, and sweetheart that she is, she asked me to bring a cake to our next get-together. So now I have to practice a cake. I'm gonna try and do something really simple and elegant. So I'm going with the celebration cake from Eric Kim's Korean American. It reads like a basic vanilla cake that's just topped with fruit and fancy whipped cream. And it even uses rice vinegar, which I love as a leavening agent. I use it all the time in my pancakes, and friends always comment about how fluffy they are. So the recipe is simple enough. It doesn't even need a stand mixer for the batter. It actually explicitly said to use a wooden spoon to cream the butter and sugar together. And then it's just eggs, vanilla, baking soda, and whisk, whisk, whisk. I got to use some of that leftover cake flour from the chocolate chip recipes, and I'm using a homemade cashew milk. I used to spend a ton of money on nut milks until I realized all I have to do is buy bulk nuts and mix with water. I did also purchase one of those fancy nut milk mixers as well, but it's totally not necessary. So Carrie, my friend, she always hosts these really lovely quote unquote cafe chats with her friends. She kind of sets up her kitchen nook like a little intimate corner table of a cafe with beautiful plates and turns the lights down and puts on some moody music. She invites just a few of us over, and then we'll serve wine, coffee, a charcuterie board, and sweets. So this time I'm the sweets portion of the program. So I want to do something girly and fun and kind of impressive, but not so difficult. I'm stressed the day of putting it together. And I also don't have a cake pan, but I do have this bundt pan, and I Googled, can I substitute bundt pan for cake pan? And the internet said yes. So I did. The most annoying part was trying to get this parchment to correctly fit. I was just really paranoid about the cake getting stuck, so I also absolutely loaded it up with oil. And so once the cake was in the oven, I switched over to the fruits. I had strawberries, blueberries, and some Asian pears in the fridge. The recipe actually calls for kiwi, but it's January, so no. And also, every time I've seen the words macerated fruit on a menu, I was like, whoa, they like really did something fancy to that fruit. No, macerated apparently just means mixed with sugar. So I really macerated my fruits, lol. And then onto the whipping cream, which you just combine heavy cream, vanilla extract, and sugar, and then just allow the stand mixer to keep whipping and whipping and whipping it all up until it puts enough air into it that it's this really delicious, fatty whipped cream. It's about a million times better than Cool Whip, and it's so simple. This is definitely something I'm gonna do the next time I'm craving strawberries and cream. So I got the cake out of the oven. It looked great. It actually came out of the pan, no problem. Obviously, whatever I did with the parchment paper to compensate for the middle part was dumb. So I'll just have to look up how to properly do this later. And I did use way too much oil in my paranoia because I kind of fried the outside of the cake, but that honestly was delicious. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. And it's so, so satisfying to peel off the parchment paper. Then I just chucked all the cut up fruit on top and then spread the cream all over. So this is the order that the recipe told me to: fruit first, then cream. I think it's practical because the cream kind of like keeps the fruit on top, but it doesn't, it kind of looks messy, probably because I just don't know how to put cream on very neatly. It was delicious, but I think for the cafe chat, I'm gonna do the opposite order so that it looks prettier and, more impressive. I was pretty baked out, so instead of something elaborate for dinner, I just went with a simple hot pot. Hot pot in my house is probably something that we do once every 2 weeks. It's soothing and comforting and our clear your pantry out kind of meal. Uh, it was a pretty typical hot pot setup this time: cabbage, bok choy, radish, frozen squashes that I had from the summer, tofu, rice cakes, and dumplings. We also had some leftover meatballs from spaghetti night, so I also just kind of thought it'd be good to chuck those in as well. There's really no recipe at all, especially when you use these packets that I make my mom ship it by like the box full, a huge box full. I get these shipped to our house. You just kind of chuck them in and just fill it up with chicken broth. For the ingredients, you just clean and chop and otherwise prep them, throw them in, and let it boil away. The only slightly cool thing that I do is I wrap these enoki mushrooms in bacon strips. I saw it being done in a ton of Korean cooking vlogs and thought it was practical because usually if you chuck enoki mushrooms in the hot pot, they kind of just dissolve and you'll just never see them again. Plus, it's an opportunity to add more bacon into my diet. And so for the meats and the things you don't want to cook too long, you kind of just wait until it's eating time and then cook it while eating. The whole point of hot pot is you sit around the pot and you chat and you catch up and you kind of slowly cook and make your way through all the food. It's the ultimate comfort and social food, at least I think. I fast forward the rest of this video because it took a long time, but it's honestly soothing to watch at high speed, at least to me, and to watch it all come together. What's not soothing is my camera angle becoming progressively more and more wonky, so I'm sorry about that. So play out the rest of the hot pot night, but that's it for the narration. Thank you so much for watching.